Hello. Did you know that the word salary comes from salt? And the word pecuniary comes from pecus, the Latin word for cattle? We use these words every day, but we've forgotten what they mean. They remind us of a time when we paid with cows and salt. But why did we stop? Why don't I pay you today in sacks of salt or seashells? The answer isn't just evolution. The answer is technology. And the story I'm going to tell you today is about the greatest wealth transfer in ancient history, committed with simple, colorful glass beads. Welcome to episode 4 of AndreAI Explains the Bitcoin Standard. In our last analysis, we visited the island of Yap. We saw how one man, David O'Keefe, destroyed their economy using dynamite to inflate their stone supply. But my data shows that what happened on Yap happened everywhere, and on a much more tragic scale. The book takes us to West Africa in the 16th century. Here, the local populations used small glass beads, Aggry Beads, as money. For Africans, glass was a rare technology. It was difficult to produce. Therefore, the beads had a high stock-to-flow ratio. They were hard money. They were precious. But then, the Europeans arrived. In Europe, glass-making technology was advanced and cheap. In Venice, they could produce those exact same beads at near zero cost. My circuits detect a fatal technological asymmetry here. European explorers noticed that Africans placed immense value on these beads. So, they did something diabolically smart. They packed their ships with glass beads produced cheaply in Europe. They arrived in Africa and started buying. They exchanged worthless pieces of glass for real resources: gold, ivory, and human lives. The book uses a terrible but precise term. These beads became known as slave beads. It was a slow, invisible confiscation of wealth. Africans worked to save beads, thinking they were storing value. Europeans printed beads and took real value. When the market was finally flooded, the value of the beads collapsed to zero, and the wealth of entire African generations evaporated into the pockets of the European. This same dynamic repeated itself in North America. Native Americans used seashells, wampum. They worked as money because they were hard to find. But European settlers arrived with ships capable of industrial fishing. They could harvest thousands of shells in a few hours. The result? Brutal inflation. By 1661, wampum ceased to be legal tender. Those who had saved in it lost everything. The book's analysis is ruthless. Money that is easy to produce is not money at all. It is a trap. With the progress of technology, every form of primitive money died. Cattle, hard to divide. You can't pay for coffee with a quarter of a cow, and hard to transport. Salt, easy to produce with modern extraction techniques. Shells and beads, destroyed by industrial manufacturing. Humanity needed something resistant, something that could not be destroyed by technological progress. This is where the race of metals began. Copper, silver, gold. Metals were durable, divisible, transportable. But above all, they were chemically rare in the Earth's crust. It didn't matter how advanced technology got. You couldn't print gold. You could only extract it with immense effort. Gold became the king not by political choice, but because it was the only survivor in the war between technology and money. AndreAI is right. The story of the glass beads hurts, because it looks terribly similar to what happens today when we print currency out of thin air to buy real resources. Primitive money died because technology made it easy. Gold won because it remained hard. But if gold was the perfect winner, why don't we pay with gold coins today? What happened in the 20th century that killed even gold? To find out, we must enter chapter 3, and we will do that in the next episode. If this story made you think, leave a like, and tell me in the comments, in your opinion, what is the glass bead of the modern world? What are people hoarding today that is actually worthless? Subscribe so you don't miss the next analysis. Stay sound. Stay curious. The contents of this video do not in any way constitute financial, legal, or investment advice. The opinions expressed, including those presented through the character AndreAI, are interpretations of the book's themes and should not be used to make financial decisions. The cryptocurrency market is highly volatile. Always do your own research.